So in the last weeks, I traveled across all our countries in CEE. And what's interesting in CEE is that you see similarities and a lot of differences as well. So first, let's cover some similarities, what we see. I clearly saw in the different markets in CEE that there is a kind of open for business theme. It's very entrepreneurial. You see a lot of labor activity, and then the competitive labor rates really help. You see a lot of infrastructure development. You see active foreign direct investment. So open for business. Another trend, what I saw across all the markets, is about, let's say, the supply chain resiliency and the decoupling of the global supply chain. So higher inventories, the nearshoring trend, and then again, the location C really helps in that trend. The third trend, what I saw in all the CE markets, and when you look at the numbers, is still the expanding economy and emerging middle class. So you continue to see the rise of the bigger online retailers and the bigger retailers in the market. And the last trend, what I saw as a kind of across all the different markets, is about the diversity of demand. So you had the traditional logistics players, but in CE you see across the different markets a lot of manufacturing, value-add services, so there's a lot going on. So that are the similarities, but there are differences between the CE markets as well. For instance, when you think about the maturity of the different markets, you could say that Czech is one of the most mature markets, and when you compare that with the GLA per stock, so logistics space per stock, it's the highest. Then you have markets like, for instance, Poland, and at the bottom you have still emerging markets with a relatively low stock level. So that's the difference, GLA per stock. Another difference is, for instance, when you think about e-commerce. Again, Czech, Poland, very almost, let's say, a Western European online consumers, while in other parts of the region, it's still on the full speed development. You see differences between the markets in terms of liquidity. Some are not liquid because there are a lot of long-term investors in those markets, so there's not a lot of transactions, while in other markets you see much more dynamics and really that logistics has been often traded. And the last differences between the markets is about the market fundamentals. Czech vacancy rate below 1%, strong rental growth. You see then Poland, it really lagged until this year with rental growth, but it is now accelerating. So that's a different dynamic, fairly low vacancy rate. And in other markets which are accelerating, you see particularly a bigger portfolio, you see a bigger footprint in the market. But those markets are still catching up in terms of the rents and in terms of the market vacancy and demand. So there are, within the CEE, some similarities, driving long-term growth for the sector. And at the same time, I think CEE is one of the most diverse regions in Europe across with the different dynamics.